welcome back. In this video we're going to take a look at useState, probably the most common React hook. useState will let us add a state variable to our component. So let's go and see. Here I am in my app and I have one component here, which at the time it's empty. When I want to use the useState, I should call it in the top level of my component, and let me import it here from React. We can provide one value here. It can be a direct value like a number, string, array, object, or whatever, or it can be an initializer function. If I provide an initializer function, the function should always be a pure function, should not accept any input, and it should return a value. When I call this, the useState will return back two variables to me. One is the state itself and the other one is the setter function, and it will be returned in an array. So I would grab those two and get them here. So I would say, for example, age and set age. And let's say we are starting at 20. Now the age is the number 20 and age is a state, and the set age is a function that we will later on use to update the age. Great. So now if I go and say return a div with the value of age, I would get 20 here. Great. Now suppose that I have a button that when I click on that it would add 1 to the age. So something like this. Do something, and here I would say add. Here I can call a function, and I should always use the set age. I cannot directly change this value. So if I say age plus 1, it's not working. It's not working. So I should say set age is the current value of age and add 1 to it. Now this should work. Great. So now this shows us that the setter function will accept one value here. Now this value can be anything, and of course we can have a updater function here as well that will work on the previous value of this age that we have here. So in other words, I can say set age and provide a function here and say this function will get the previous age and add 1 to it, and it should work the same. Great. And if I refresh, still the same. Awesome. But there's a small difference between using a function here and a direct value. Let me give you an example to see the difference here. So suppose that instead of having something here, I would just call an updater function, update. And I go here and say update is a function that let's say set age plus 1, and I do it like 3 times. The thing that I expect is let me move them a little bit to the right. The thing that I expect is that after clicking on the update I should get 20 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, 23. But the result is 21 and then 22. It looks like these two are ignored, so to say, but that's not the case. Now the reason is that calling this set function does not update the age state variable in the already running code. So each set age plus 1 becomes set age 21, and here it will be 21 again, and here it will be 21 again. So in other words, this age does not wait for this set age to complete and then get the value of the age. In order to avoid this, we need to have the function here instead of the direct value. So we can say previous age one and do it like 3 times. And now if I go back and run, now it's adding 3. So it's a very important point to remember that when we are using the updater function, this value is always the updated value. Okay, so let me do it like this and save it. There are cases that we don't want to include a single value here, like a number, a boolean, or a string. But we want to have a more complex, like an object or a nested object. So, for example, we have something like this. A nested object that includes a array here and another object inside this. Now, if we want to update this object in the useState, we should always provide a new object entirely here. Now let's call this profile, and this should be, of course, set profile. Let me change this one to set profile and this one to profile as well. We would update, for example, the street. So I have an input for the street here, and on change we should get the event and say update the E. Let's call it update street, and this should go here, and I don't want this button here anymore and not the profile. Okay, now when this unchange happens, I would like to update the street. Is something like this. I would say set profile to be the profile. All of those are the same. The colors are also a object. It should be regenerated again. So this should be profile dot colors, and the address should be the profile dot address, whatever it was, and the street value should be the new value that we passing. So if we are passing let's say value here, and here we pass e dot value dot target, we get the value here. Great. So now if I go back here and open my Chrome tools, go to components, here you can see that my state is something like this now. And if I say, for example, okay, I have an error, it should be e.target.value, like so. So if I say, let's say Texas, you can see that the street changed to Texas. Great. So this is a very important point, that if we are working with objects or arrays or complex data types like them, we should always provide a new object entirely, even though some of those values are not changed. So for example, colors is not changed, but we always provide a new array here. So yeah, this was about it for the state hook. In the next video, we will continue our journey into the hooks world. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.